I am back again. It's Ruben. I'm with Janice
Hello,
and Daniel,
Hello.
the Mavridis family. Yeah, you know them from, gosh, so many different shows. Probably 200 shows now.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
And I met both of you at Capernaum
Studios, correct?
It was the very first. I think the first with the Passover was the first
Yes.
time I met
Oh
you guys.
yes.
Correct.
And so, how did you guys get into acting?
Well, we had just retired from our jobs, and in order to find something instead of sitting on the couch all day long, and my brother Leon was working at Capernaum Studios, and they said that they were going to start a production called the Passover Experience, and we're needing some actors, and we never acted before. So,
Which you can't. By the way, you can't tell. They're so experienced, expert level.
Oh.
Like obviously couldn't tell, but go ahead.
and anyway, so they contacted us and said, could you come? It was a hotel, I think, or a business park, and Tammy Lane and Christopher Inman were there interviewing people. So as we walked in, they said, okay, here's a script, you guys study it, and then you're going to perform it for us. And they were filming us. And we looked at each other, what have we gotten into? And so we did the best we could, and read from, kind of halfway memorized what the script was, and we were talking back and forth and putting our own spin on it. And when they said cut, they said, okay, we'll let you know. And when we walked to the car, said they're never going to call us. And sure enough, about a week later, Tammy Lane calls us and said, we would like to book you guys for the Passover Experience. I would be one of the disciples, and Janice was.
I was a tour guide for the city.
Yeah.
I was a guide for all of the people that came in and walked them through the whole little city and explained what was happening, what was going on. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
For the first time, it was great.
So how did Daniel convince you? Hey, we're gonna go to the hotel. That's a weird date, right?
Well, it was a little, took some convincing. I'm not very outgoing, and Daniel's always working on me to get out there and do things. So yeah, it was hard at first, but you get used to it and it gets better and better.
Yeah.
So you guys, when I posted about Paul, you
Yeah.
guys one of the first people that responded.
Oh yeah.
And knowing that you guys are going to be involved, that meant a lot to me as well.
Well,
And
thank you.
then you guys not only were involved, but you actually were characters. You actually
Yeah.
spoke there as well and had different characterizations that you did as well.
Right.
What was your first impression? First of all, when you saw that this Paul movie was going to be in it, that I was going to be a part of it.
Oh wow. Well, first of all, just knowing that you were involved, that gave us some confidence. And then when we got there and we could see that it was very well done, the characters, the production, everything was really good about it.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
And when I first we sat in the temple and Paul was speaking, and the way he spoke, it just gets you. I mean, he nailed that character so good that I don't think there could have been another character to take on that role.
Oh, yeah.
And during breaks, I got a chance to talk to Ulises, and we built a friendship. And and it was amazing what he did with that character.
Yeah.
The way he brought it to life.
Yeah.
And spoke, and didn't miss a beat in his dialogue and his movements and the way he would pause at times and say the words, and it was like me seeing the Apostle Paul there in front of me.
Yeah, we were very fortunate to have Ulises Larramendi to be
Yeah.
Paul.
Absolutely.
definitely a godsend. And,
Yeah.
and just knowing and hearing that by the way, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
And even experiencing that during his audition and other times that he just really brought that character. Very professional actor as well.
Yeah, he did. It was amazing the way the dialogue that when he went through it. I mean, it was nonstop. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't take a break. He didn't stop. He didn't. He went right through it.
Yeah.
It was great.
And then for me personally to be in it, it was a part of a production that we saw that it was going to do amazing things and reach people, for the Lord. And, my wife and I have always been background actors, and like that, they say, without the background actors, there is no production because it adds a authenticity and character to it, and we're just blessed to do that,
Well, and your scenes, I guess you haven't seen your scene yet,
No.
but just what you guys brought to that scene, it was very, very encouraging, very energetic. I would say that there's a lot of energy behind your scene as well.
Yeah.
And
You really get into the scene because the crowd is there, and things are happening, and you get into it.
Yeah.
You get into it. So yeah.
And as we were at the temple, you're listening to the dialogue that the Apostle Paul was saying, and I'm getting in character because of his dialogue, and I would at times, go to the guy next to me, what did you think of that, and instead of just sitting there, listening, you have to be involved in what he's saying and bring that out in you.
True. And Daniel and Janice, they have probably the most experience because they've been since the Chosen since season 1.
Season 1,
so,
yes.
So definitely you can see the training of that, knowing how to do that. This actually came from all the work that you guys have done as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, when we first started, it was a little difficult because you don't know what you're doing, but as the time goes, you start seeing, and you can start reacting to comments, to what people are saying, just even with a look or a nod, it adds so much.
Yeah. And be mindful of what's going on. You're not just a background actor, you're involved in it, and your reaction inspires somebody else and stuff, and and just to be mindful of that you're just not a person sitting there, or for lack of other words, bumping a log, with nothing to do. You do have a mission and of what's going on and how to bring it to life.
And hopefully you add dimension to the
exactly
to the production,
exactly. And I play off her and she plays off me, and,
and we do a lot of our scenes together. We've been fortunate that many times we're paired together to do scenes together, so that makes it fun.
That brings up a question. So are you at your house like running through a scene, or is it, or you guys, I mean, I find it interesting because the way there's so much chemistry, obviously, because you guys are married, and there's so much chemistry, but do you guys do that at home? Does Daniel walk by like he's always crossing, or?
Oh no, it's really funny because what we do is when we're at home, we will talk in the Hebrew accent to each other. Yeah, we practice that. We do that a lot. That's good.
And and a lot of times we'll run it through our minds, what we're gonna do, and before we get on set, and prepare our mentally and physically, because in The Chosen it's very physical, especially in hot weather, cold weather, rainy weather, and you just have to adapt to the climate and prepare yourself, and what's to come and what's expected of you.
So when you did Paul, it was really nice. Whether you're inside,
oh yes,
it was actually kind of cold.
That was nice. Yeah, that was a nice change.
So just so you know, Paul last while, so we care for our actors.
Yeah.
We change the weather. We change. Just joking. No sacrilege needed there. But again, just it was really cool to again see you guys
Yeah.
acting in that
Yeah.
role.
Yeah.
So okay, you mentioned a couple, the time with Ulysses.
Yes.
Was there any other like situation or like a really fond memory that you guys had during the week as well?
Well, I
During-
think it was really, for me, it was really great to see other background that I'm familiar with, that I've known for a while and working with them. It's almost like a family.
Family. And
Yeah.
it's always a reunion, when we go to different locations, different productions, and we see some of the same people, and it's like coming back together.
Nice.
But one of the scenes that I liked was in the Paul the Last Apostle, was when we were outside on those stairs, and we were told to attack, to go up, and because we were being taxed unjustly, and so we were running up there and angry and shouting, we don't want to pay these taxes, and that was you get also on those, you get into it, what would I do in that time, and then you set your mind, we're angry, we don't want to be taxed, so it's just getting in character and preparing yourself to bring that scene to life.
That was one scene where we actually we were yelling cut cut cut. You guys couldn't hear us. You guys were so into the scene.
Yeah.
It was really kind of cool to. How do you manage a riot? It's kind of
Yeah.
But again, it came across that way as well.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, and what you bring to it, and what God puts in your heart, and that, for lack of another word, we were chosen for this,
Right.
and so it's special for us, when we're chosen for a production, and we want to give it our 100%, to bring it to life and to.
It's funny that you say that because some people have been noticing that in Paul the Last Apostle, a lot of the chosen background, you actually hear them speak.
Yeah.
so like they're not just background. You actually could hear Janice and Daniel and actually see them acting. So it's more. They're more than just a background. And I think like Kevin and AZ and actually you had other people actually doing lines, which you never seen before.
Right. So that's you're growing. It helps you to grow, and it's just great to be able to, just be in that situation where you are growing as the more you do, and this was a perfect opportunity for that.
Yes, and the production was I hate to say a small one, but it was quality and a quality cast and quality people, and gave you more opportunity to open up, and to express yourself, and whether to get angry or to laugh, to cry, and that brings another level of authenticity to the character and to the production.
Yeah, and you get like you mentioned earlier, you can definitely feel and feed off of it as well.
Yeah.
So obviously, I always ask the same question. Other than me, again, because I don't want you to say me, but me being number one, I'm not number one. But say that way you don't say me. Who is like your biggest inspiration? Yeah, like during that week, like who did you guys like? Man, I'm really impressed with. And you kind of mentioned your listeners already.
Yes.
But is there anybody else that you like? Okay, wow, you were really impressed that week.
Well, actually, this is kind of in the background. Dan Turn. He was
Daniel
just
Bylsma.
he was all over. He was just there. He was trying, everything. He was just hustling. He was there. He was doing everything he needed to do, and he was just impressive. I was glad to see him because I've worked with him in the past, and it's good to see him in a different role, different position. And I was impressed with him. Yeah.
And for me, it was also seeing Christian in a director role.
Director, yes.
And that was really a blessing for me to see him step out of being a PA in the chosen, to the leadership and taking on that baby responsibility. I would never do it, but I was glad to see him expand and to stretch himself, you know, in another role other than being a TA.
So it's kind of cool that again you see the chosen crew and the cat, and first of all the background, and also some of the crew that we knew, but actually we're able to do a lot more, like Savannah, Ashley.
Yes.
I mean, they just did so much more than just what they were used to in the chosen side.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So to all the millions of fans out there, all million of them, do you have anything that you want to say, Janice?
Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just so blessed to be able to work on all these faith-based films. I mean, and I'm so glad to see that there's more and more coming out.
Yeah.
And it is such a blessing, and I'm looking forward to many more, and hopefully it'll expand more, especially here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Yeah.
And for me to work next to my wife and to see her blossom and to take on different challenges, that I kind of forced her into. But just to see the end product, and see her talent blossom and come to life, in different productions and stuff. And it's a blessing for me to share that together, as husband and wife. And it's been a awesome journey, full of meeting new people, friends, and stuff, and hope that we can keep going.
So I'm guessing that little push that he had for you to try out for that first time at Capernaum, was that beneficial? Was that a good thing now? Because now you're almost full circle. You're blossoming. Your husband's saying how great he is standing beside you. Was it worth it?
Absolutely, absolutely. No, yeah, it's I've really grown a lot in just putting myself out there, which is not something I would have done on my own. So yeah.
Have you seen him also? I mean, I see a little blossom here and there.
No, he's always blossomed. He's always loved to be out there and to be involved in things like that. So no, that's good for him.
Yeah, and I'm not a blooming idiot.
Right. Well, I don't know. We'll reserve that for the comments. Well, Janice, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you, Ruben.
Daniel.
Thank you, Ruben.
Yeah.
You've been a blessing to us, and hope we can do more things in the future.
Hope to work with you some more.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a whole lot more. We have a lot more projects coming up, which is going to be great. But again, you guys are amazing. Again, if you want to see them, the Mavridis, all the 300 movies they've been in, any episode of The Chosen, you'll see them. Of course, in Paul Last Apostle, you actually see them act, and you actually hear them speaking as well.
Yeah. And you are number one, Ruben.
Yes, in our life you are.
Thank you.
So, all right.
So, thank you.
Camera speed.
Scene 6, Adam. Take 1.
Okay.
Background action.
Camera set.
Action.
We pay our taxes.
It is a shame.